I am in desperate need of some kind of haircut, but the whole of the UK is shut down and I can't do it. Hello everybody, my name is RabbidLuigi. Welcome back to a long overdue another one of these tier list videos where I just rank whatever I can find that I want to talk about, be it games or, you know, consoles, or as it is today, starter Pokemon in Pokemon games, because that's something that everyone has an opinion on, and they're usually wrong. The challenge with ranking starter Pokemon is that it's all down to opinion, you know, which type you like, which designs you like, what you like about a Pokemon, if you like fast Pokemon or bulky Pokemon. There's not really a best starter. I mean, there are a few. There aren't many best starters per generation, so it makes it a little bit tricky to put them in a tier list like this. I've just noticed of this tier list, I need to get rid of this column because I never use them. I never go down to F. I don't think there's any Pokemon here that I would say, yeah, that's bad enough to be an F rank. That's harsh, man. Gotta be nice to them. They're just Pokemon. Don't be cruel. It's a little bit tricky to distill all of these Pokemon into 5 tiers. The easiest way I can think of doing it is do it by generation, and then decide what are my favourite Pokemon within those generations, and then just go from there, I think. I don't know. I'm just going to do that and see where we end up. And by the way, just in case it isn't obvious, even though I've got only the final evolutionary stage of these start Pokemon, I am considering every single stage of their evolution when ranking them. It's not like, oh, you know, Blaziken's good, it's firefighting, but, you know, when it's Torchic's bad. It's nothing like that. It's everything to do with that starter Pokemon. So, just in case that wasn't obvious, that's what I'm doing. We're going to start with Generation 1, which is the best place to start, and frankly, we've seen so much of these Pokemon that it's very hard to split them on how they're perceived by the world, or at least that would be the case if Charizard wasn't there. And Charizard is there for a very good reason, that being Charizard is so popular. Unbelievably popular. The anime helped a lot with that, but honestly, he's also a really good Pokemon. He's got like dragon traits to him, which they kind of ran with Mega Evolutions, and all 3 of these do have Mega Evolutions, but Charizard got 2 because he's super special like that, and it's never really affected me too much in terms of how much I love Charizard. Like, I don't really love Charizard. He is good, but I've never really like sought him out as a Pokemon to have in a Pokemon playthrough of Red and Blue and that sort of stuff. So while he is good, I'm not going to put him too high because he's just obsessed. People are obsessed with Charizard. Not so much nowadays. We've kind of calmed down a bit, but Pokemon as a legacy is a little obsessed with Charizard. So I'm going to put him in A. Venusaur is my go-to for Gen 1 just because he has a secondary type from the start, which can be useful for various things, and having that poison thing is helpful. You can have leech seed and all that crap, and poison powder and sleep powder. You can have a great time. He's not really all that special, you know, doesn't really have much going for him. Grass poison is okay, but as we will come to see later in this list, grass poison is better than nothing, frankly, and we'll get to nothing very soon. I'm going to put him in A as well, just because he's a bit more... He means more to me on a, you know, nostalgic level than Charizard. Charizard's okay, but, you know, he gets fire flying and that's whatever. Blastoise is... I've never really... I like Squirtle. Here's the thing. I like Squirtle. Wartortle was kind of hit and miss. Blastoise is okay. The only real redeeming feature is the cannons, which when you give him Hydro Cannon is hilarious. It just feels like where it was always leading. So he's okay, but I'm going to put him in B just because I don't care as much. He's a bulky Pokemon, whereas Charizard is, you know, kind of good and he's kind of bulky. He's a different type of bulky, but I don't really care. So there's your Kanto starters. Moving swiftly along to your Johto starters, and I don't really see the points in Meganium these days. I really don't. The only reason why Meganium was any kind of interesting is because if you gave it a Mega Evolution, it would be Mega Meganium, which used Mega Drain, and we're just gonna keep using the word Mega. This is gonna be amazing that they didn't do that. So it's just a mono grass. I forget it's often there, and I forget that Meganium exists, which makes me sad, because I actually really enjoy the other 2 Johto starters. Kind of not quite the opposite of Kanto, but I like Typhlosion, because he's kind of wonderful, and he's got that whole neck made of fire, and it's pretty decent in that. And, you know, Feraligatr is his own kettle of fish that he's a crocodile, alligator, water. It can crunch people with his teeth. He's amazing. Basically, when I first played Gold all those many years ago, I chose Totodile because he looked cute and I wanted him, and he turned into a Feraligatr who was amazing. The only thing I would say is that in their respective generations, Feraligatr is a physical water type Pokemon, which was terrible because it didn't water was special. All water was special, so it wasn't all that useful. Typhlosion is wonderful though, so I have no complaints. I can't really say too much in favour of Typhlosion, other than the fact that he's got Flame Wheel, and for some reason that sounded awesome to me growing up. I'm going to put him in A. Feraligatr, good! He's going in B. Meganium, rather not talk about it. Generation 3, now we're getting into our stride of interesting things that they did with Pokemon, because in Generation 2, they're all monotype. They're all Grass, Water, Fire, which is fine, but it's very boring. In this generation, most of them are dual type. You have Blaziken, who's firefighting, Swampert is water ground, and Sceptile, who's just grass. He should have been something more interesting. It kind of lets him down a bit. He's not terrible. He is not terrible at all, but he is a bit of a, like... here's the problem. We're going to get to it later with some other generations, where I would pick a Pokemon, and in my first playthrough of Gen 3, I picked Trico, and thought he was amazing. I look at other people, I look at friends, I look at my sister chose Mudkip, and I think, wow, that's really cool that your Pokemon gains the ground type and can use Earthquake. What can Sceptile do? You can learn Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade's quite good. He doesn't get a second type, and I wish he did, and it wouldn't usually be an issue, but when it's up against two others like that, it just is disappointing. Not massively disappointing, but it's a C rank of disappointment, I would say. Blaziken and Swampert, less so. They're more exciting. Blaziken can fly, absolutely fly through a generation. Swampert, slightly less so. I'm going to put him in A, because he can do some wonderful, wonderful things, and when he got a Mega Evolution, he became just hilariously swole. It was wonderful. But Blaziken is in a class of its own, because it gets Speed Boost. When it becomes... It's already pretty fast, but when it gets Speed Boost... by default in Mega Evolution, and I think it's a hidden ability for Torchic, it becomes really fast and really powerful. So yeah, that's kind of ridiculous as a starter Pokemon, so yeah, we'll go with that. Gen 4! I often forget about Gen 4. Fun fact, I had to think a lot when I was ordering these. I had to order them manually, and I genuinely get Gen 4 and Gen 5 confused, because they're both on the DS, I both played them around about the same age. I do get the starters a little bit confused, and I'm looking at it now, and I think I've got it right. Pretty sure, yeah. The one way to remember that I've got it right is that Gen 4 actually did something interesting with its Pokemon, because fun thing with Gen 4 is that they actually gave every Pokemon, or every starter Pokemon, dual typing, which is good, but they deliberately gave it a dual typing that would give its, let's say it's the Pokemon that it's weak to. No, it's the other way around. They gave it a dual typing that made it vulnerable to the type that it would be strong against. So Empoleon is a water steel, which the steel is kind of a weakness against fire, which water is strong against. So it kind of makes them a bit equal in my eyes. And that is, honestly, it makes it cool. I do love, genuinely love Empoleon though. He's one of my favourites, because the fact that you get a Pokemon that you start the game with, and around about Gym 4 or 5 becomes a Steel type, that's amazing. It's so useful. There's not many things, at least in that stage, that could get through Steel, and if you're Water Steel, you're kind of covering Fire quite nicely, so it's an amazing combination. Torterra as a Grass Ground type, also pretty decent, not quite as exciting. I think it might have been it might have been a unique type combination at that time, but I think we may have surpassed them. I don't know. I can't remember if there's any other grass ground type at this point, but it is good. I wouldn't say as exciting. It's kind of a bulky thing. I think it's really slow from what I remember, so I'm going to put it in B. Infernape, as like the start of this firefighting thing, it's exciting. It's decent. Quite fun. You get close combat now, a great time. It's a fast sweeping machine. Not as exciting as Empoleon, but I'm going to put it in A because, you know, it's not bad. Gen 5 is the start of some interesting things because we kind of dropped this dual typing thing. And honestly, I feel like all starter Pokemon should be dual typing. Just because they're all strong and they all end up being something greater than they were originally. They have 3 evolutionary forms. They can find a dual typing at some point in there. So the fact that we go to Superior, who isn't quite as exciting as, like, you know, Torterra getting a ground type, but the good thing with Superior is you get Coil, which raises a few funky stats, and that makes it an interesting late game option that you can actually set up your Superior and just sweep the other team. So that makes it a bit more exciting. Other than that, it hasn't got much going for it though. I'm gonna put it in A, just because I would put it with B. Actually, you know what? B is a good idea, because it's monotyping, it's fast, it's like Sceptile, but it's got Coil, and Coil's kind of cool. It doesn't have the doesn't have the dual typing of, you know, Grass Ground, or anything. You could have anything with that. I don't know what you'd give it. Ground, Dark, maybe? Grass Dark wouldn't be so bad. It's a snake, you could get away with Dark. Samurott, kind of, I never saw this final form coming through its evolutionary line, because you have an Otter, and then Duot, which is like a slightly more, you know, aggressive Otter, and then Samurott doesn't end up on 2 legs, it ends up on 4 legs as like this horned samurai thing, and it's good, I do enjoy it, but it's still only water, and that makes it slightly dull. It doesn't have all that much going for it either, it's just a half decent water, it's just kind of middle of the road. B is a good place for it, honestly. There's not anything wrong with it, it's just a bit bland, and I feel like we could have done better. Pignite, on the other hand, I have a hard time placing. I really do, because the more I think about it, he is another firefighting, which should make him redundant as a Pokemon, because it's straight off the heels of the other firefighting type in Infernape. But he's an interesting combination of things. He's a slow, beefy, physical attacker, knows moves like Heat Crash, which do quite a lot of damage. I don't hate Pignite. I used to hate Pignite, don't really hate him so much anymore, and I can't put him in D. I would like to at some point, but I'm going to put him in C, just because he's not terrible. He's not my favourite option in Gen 5, because, honestly, at the same time, I know it was Gen 4. Gen 4 is the one which didn't have any fire types. I get them confused, you know. Pignite should have been better. I don't know how you would have done it. If you make him stronger, he's just very slow and very similar to previous. He's a slower version of Infernape, basically, and Infernape gets lots of stuff done. Infernape was still strong, but at least he was fast as well, so I don't know. It is what it is. We're moving on up to Gen 6. Now, Gen 6 is an interesting turning point, because this is where we kind of have the idea of Gen 4. So they're all dual-typed, that's fine, like that. But now, if I remember correctly, any type that was super effective against a type, so grass against water, the other typing is also super effective against the other typing. So grass is super effective against water, and fighting is super effective against dark. So Chestnut would destroy the shit out of Greninja. Greninja's quite fast, so maybe not. Chestnut, I just want to say, I didn't like Chestnut. I started with Chespin. He looked amazing, of course I wanted him, but again, like I said, when you're sitting there with envy with your Trico and thinking, wow, all the other Pokemon get dual typing. It wasn't so much that, it was, wow, all the other Pokemon become cool things in their final form. He's just like a conker shell or something, which isn't very strong or fast or powerful. It's not very impressive. I don't think D is the place for him, but I think C is a very good place for him, just because he's disappointing. He is disappointing. When you have these, and these are so good, I'm tempted to put them both in S, just because it's an interesting combination of things. Definitely Delphox is an S, because, honestly, I don't think she's the best Pokemon, or I don't know how you gender starter Pokemon, but Delphox is an interesting Pokemon, because it's a psychic starter Pokemon. That's interesting straight out of the gate. That's a funky idea. So, you know, we can deal with that. Greninja, on the other hand, has kind of that global recognition appeal by the fact that, you know, people love the design of him. He turns black as a shiny. That's really cool. And then he gets into Smash Bros. And suddenly he's got, you know, all sorts of popularity all of a sudden. So he's kind of automatically higher up on the list, just because I loved using him and everybody loved using him. He's a fast special attacker, so, you know, you can have fun with that. Delphox is a slower special attacker, but it's a unique idea, a unique design. I would happily use Greninja in any playthrough. I really would. So, you're going to go up there for now. 2 more generations left. Gen 7. Oh, Lord. Hard to split. I would say quite hard to split, because They're all quite good. I forget where we are on like how effective things are against each other. I think Decidueye might have the short end of the stick, because Ghost I don't think is great against Fairy. Fairy's super effective against Dark, Dark's super effective against Ghost. So they kind of all mesh together nicely, but in a way, Decidueye gets the short end of the stick, but also Rowlet's awesome, and as a Pokemon idea, a like Ghost Archer is really good. A Ghost starter type is fun and interesting, and I want more stuff like that. If you want to make a starter Pokemon part Dragon by the time it gets to its third evolutionary form, I'd like you to do that. That sounds amazing. The fact that Decidueye has so much going for him, even though he's not that strong, the design is really good. The unique type coverage, at least for a starter Pokemon, is really interesting, so I like it. I like him a lot. Incineroar, I probably wouldn't like if he wasn't in Smash Bros, as weird as that is, because I used him, I definitely played through Gen 7, I think 3 times, with different starters, and he just wasn't interesting. Wasn't as interesting as Decidueye, so he is good. He's not great, he got some interesting things. Darkest Lariat's a fun move, but I don't know. I do like the idea of a Dark Wrestler, which is what that is, but it just doesn't quite land, doesn't stick the landing with me. Primarina, I very nearly forgot the name. That's bad. Is that a sign? That might be a sign. Fine. The one that everybody ignored, frankly, because they loved that Decidueye and Incineroar looked amazing. It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing terrible. It's just kind of bland. Fairy's a cool thing. Is it cool enough to go there? I'm gonna go there. Just because, other than that, kind of boring. Not, I mean, it's like a seal. It's like a party seal. I don't know. Next. And so we get to Gen 8. Flying through. Rillaboom, or Cinderace, and Inteleon. Very recent starters, which have only been around for like 18 months or something. Hard to really judge how they fit within my own perception of Pokemon. I've actually never used Rillaboom in a playthrough. I did a playthrough of Sword with Inteleon, then I did Shield with Cinderace. Based on that, I would put Cinderace very high, probably up here, actually. I've got a few fires in there, haven't I? Just because Pyro Ball is a hilariously strong move, kind of absurdly strong. It's very useful. It's an easy game, Gen 8, but Pyro Ball does make life a lot easier by that regard. Comes to the other two, Inteleon's okay. I didn't love Inteleon. He was very frail. He's not that fast. He's a decent attacker, but he's okay. I'm going to put him here. And then Rillaboom, I actually can't really judge. I haven't really played him. He's a cool design. He's like a rock drum monkey, which is wonderful. That's just a fun couple of words to say, a rock drum monkey. So I'm going to put him in B as well, because frankly, I don't know anywhere else other than that. I don't know. So yeah, they are the starter Pokemon ranked as I feel them. I don't think there's too many genuinely terrible ones. Meganium is one that's been lost to time more than anything else. I am pleased where everything else is though. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I very, very wrong? Do you feel another way about starter Pokemon and you think that I should change my list? I'm pretty pleased with that. There are a lot of water Pokemon in B. Yeah, but there's Greninja and Swampert up there. I just don't really, I'm not excited about water Pokemon. They're so abundant. I don't really care. Fire Pokemon are more interesting, and grass Pokemon are more wildly varied. There's a grass type Pokemon in every tier. What about it? So yeah, let me know what you think, and also let me know what you'd like me to rank in the future, because I'm back doing these type of videos, and I'm going to keep doing them. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.